Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2. That looks very loud. Oh, that's not good.
with NBL25 just weeks away and the Blitz on the Gold Coast within touching distance. What better time to bring together the two Melbourne combatants for a pre-season throwdown that's going to give us a glimpse into what we might expect from both Melbourne United and South East Melbourne in NBL25. And what a night for it here at the State Basketball Centre. A sold-out crowd filing in. It's going to be a fantastic night of basketball. Melbourne United's Big Four are back. South East Melbourne, a new-look Phoenix lineup looking to take it to bigger brother. Welcome one and all wherever you are watching across the country and indeed around the world tonight to NBL pre-season action here in Melbourne. Julian Marcus with you, Tom Hirsch is with me, and Tom, it is pre-season. That is the caveat that we always use at this time of year, but there's no such thing as a friendly between these two sides, is there?
There is not, and it's great to see this rivalry renewed nice and early this year. We don't have to wait for the opening of the regular season. We get a glimpse of it here tonight at the State Basketball Centre in front of a packed-out crowd, as you said, Julian. And for both teams, it's a good test of where they're at this stage. Obviously, very early in the pre-season. Both teams have had just the one pre-season game each. They both faced the Brisbane Bullets earlier in the week. United faced them on Tuesday night at Casey. They lost 75-90, as you mentioned, without four of their likely starters come the regular season in Golding. Maybe Clark will be off the bench, we'll see. Matthew Delvedova and Marcus Lee. And for the South East Melbourne Phoenix, they travelled up to Wangaratta, which is a good 3-hour drive from Melbourne on Thursday night. And they also faced the Brisbane Bullets. It was a closer affair, but they went down 92-86. Ben Ayre missed that one. Their import Matt Hurt missed that one. He's still not going to be back tonight, but Ben Ayre is. And as you mentioned, those four players who missed for United are back in action here tonight. And the United in this brand new blue jersey as well, bringing a brand new look for them. Jack White's back. Ian Clark back from last season. This should be really exciting, Julian.
Starting five for both sides for the Phoenix. Wearing their whites tonight at home, which is a rare thing these days. Jordan Hunter, Derek Walton Jr., Nathan Sobey, Joe Rosekamp and Thomas Bogdanovic. While for Melbourne United's Rob Lowe, Jack White, Ian Clark, Chris Golding and Shea Illy. Melbourne United, it's the first chance we're seeing them in this new sky blue outfit here tonight. While for the Phoenix, they wear the road whites at home. So the opening tip's going to be Hunter. The do battle in the middle with Lowe, and it's United who will get the first possession this evening at a sold-out State Basketball Centre, and they are still filing in. The appetite for basketball here in Melbourne for NBL basketball, it's palpable. We haven't even started yet, but Shea Illy certainly has.
Simple action there for United to get their first look at Illy, who is probably in one of the best forms out of anyone as Sobey goes coast to coast. Shea Illy played the whole off-season in the NBL1 with the Sandringham Sabres, so he's good to go.
So White handing it off to Clark, and Tom Bogdanovic looking at it down low. He's going against Lowe, and Lowe beats him.
Speaking of in-season form, Rob Lowe, a massive year again in the NZNBL. Defensive Player of the Year, went all the way to the Grand Final Series. And interesting, his unretirement is he's back again. It's great to see.
Sobey, nice flick. Bogdanovic, we know his prowess from downtown. Can't get it to go that time. Hunter with the flick out, and this is the man the Phoenix want to fire this season. Couldn't get it to go from deep. An early look at White here, drawing a foul early.
And that's one of the reasons that they signed Jack White. People talk about him being a Luke Travers replacement. He's a different kind of player with some similar skill sets, but that rip-and-go ability in transition is going to be huge for Melbourne United this season.
You look at the results from last season between these two sides. Of course, United sweeping all four throwdowns. Only the one time the Phoenix were able to keep it within single figures. It was actually their pre-season encounter in Casey that the Phoenix came closest. It was a late bucket that got United over the line. As I said, this is a very different look for South East Melbourne in NBL25. Exciting on paper. And Jack White is going to be such a big indicator of Melbourne United's fortunes this season, isn't he, Tom?
He really is, and his defensive ability, but also his improved offense. And I don't think NBL fans really understand how much Jack White's improved since he was last here in the NBL when he was with United last time. And as we see a turnover there, Jack White obviously was recovering from that Achilles injury when he was last with Melbourne United. He spent the last 2 years over in the US, as we know, in the G League, in the NBA, won a ring with the Denver Nuggets. He was phenomenal 2 years ago in his first season over there in the G League. 21 points, 10 rebounds a game, really dominated. Last year, a little injury-riddled was Jack White. As we see Golding with a beautiful up fake, and Joe Wieskamp will need to learn the scout, I think, on that one as CG gets himself going. But Jack White, healthy now, really looking forward to attacking this season, and Nathan Sobey attacking in transition as he does so well, Julian.
Both sides getting it going early, but United started very quick on the offensive end. Illy's feed goes nowhere, straight to Walton Jr. Drives down low, and Walton Jr. against Clark. Both men have seen success in purple. Now on opposite sides of the Melbourne divide, and we talk about contests this season that you're really looking forward to, the battles between Ian Clark and Derek Walton Jr. I guess it goes a little bit back to the Sydney Championships as well. A chance to put a little point as well.
And right Q Angus Glover checks in as you're making your point. But you're right, Ian Clark won the first of those two championships with the Sydney Kings a couple of years ago. Derek Walton won the second of them. And now they are facing off against each other for the first time in the NBL. Well, actually, that's not true. Sorry, they did last season, many a time, in the Sydney versus Melbourne clashes.
Going to get a good look at the matchup as this season goes on.
First time as throwdown rivals.
The Melbourne rivalry, which is only growing as the seasons go by. Now here's Clark, step back from downtown. You can't give him that kind of space, because that's what he's going to do to you.
And Angus Glover should probably know better. Former teammates at Sydney.
Here's Walton Jr. Speaking of former Kings, they're everywhere. Bogdanovic lights it up from deep. We know he can space the floor. Such a luxury to have in a big man. Speaking of, well, not quite that time, but White able to board it.
Well, Bogdanovic may not play massive minutes once the regular season kicks off, but they love him so far in the heartland here because he just has a versatile skill set and he's just a competitor.
Glover, what a feed that was. Bogdanovic takes it into the paint. This is one man, Angus Glover. He's going to be one to watch this season. He is going to have a fire in his belly. You know that for a fact, and what an opportunity he's got in green.
5 quick points for Bogdanovic, who had 13 points on Thursday night against the Brisbane Bullets. Got the start then as well.
Nice follow-up work from Lowe. When you talk about minutes in the regular season, what are you expecting with Rob Lowe? What's his role going to be for Melbourne United this year, minutes-wise as well?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's going to be the backup 5 to Marcus Lee, obviously starting tonight. Lee's just coming in a little bit late, still ramping up as Glover knocks down from long range, and we'll see plenty more of that this season for the Phoenix. But I would expect Rob Lowe to probably play somewhere in the 12 to 15-minute range as that backup 5. And Marcus Lee handling the bulk of the minutes, probably kind of in that 22 to 25-minute range. They might go small ball 5 occasionally as well. But Lowe obviously was with the team last year at the start of the season as an injury replacement, familiar with this offense, familiar with these schemes, and still has a great skill set that can help this team a lot.
Clark off the back iron. Oh, that's well defended from Golding. Lowe with it now. Neither side letting the shot clock tick down too far. Tied at 14. And Golding leaves it short. But Illy does the same thing.
Jack White very active already on those O-boards.
And a foul on Lowe. It's been a quick start here at the State Basketball Centre.
And we are seeing mass substitutions. 4 on for the Phoenix, 5 on for Melbourne United. So only Glover remains for the Phoenix. Owen Foxwell, Majuk, Matt Kenyon, and the next star, Malik Lewis, into the game. He had a really nice showing in that game on Thursday night, Julian. Malik Lewis did 15 points, led the team in scoring.
Foxwell looking to hand it off to Glover. He does with great difficulty. Glover with the floater. Draws in the foul. You've got to be liking this if you're a Phoenix fan. Again, it's preseason, but this is a guy that you've got to keep an eye on this year, Angus Glover. He could be in for a monster season.
I completely agree, and I think he was poorly used, really, last season by the City Kings. His role diminished from what we'd seen the year before when they won the title, and it was a real shame to see because he was capable of offering so much more. It was a down year, but obviously he spent the off-season working. He played for the Eltham Wildcats in the NBL1, won the grand final MVP. He hit 17 threes across their last 2 games in the finals, in the preliminary final and the grand final, including 10 in that preliminary final and a buzzer-beating 3 to send him through to the grand final. So Glover's in great form, but he's really excited to be here in Melbourne and have a fresh start after, let's just say, an underwhelming season last year with the City Kings.
The Phoenix get their first lead of the night, but it's a short-lived one as Dellavedova hits it from the free throw line with the jumper. Tied at 16. Foxwell drifting left. Glover open. Cash.
Strong start for Glover. 8 points off the bench already. 2 of 2 from downtown. And that's what they brought him here for his defense and to help to space the floor. And, you know, we look at what didn't work for the Phoenix last year, and forgetting all the injuries they had, and they were really struck pretty hard by injuries last season, which caused their slide in the second half of that year, of that campaign. But they struggled defensively, and that was the knock on them for a couple of seasons. They could score in bunches, inconsistently, but in terms of what they brought in this season, pieces like Angus Glover especially, and Jordan Hunter, who also came down from the Sydney Kings, really to shore up that defensive side of the court, and whatever they can give on offense is a bonus. But Angus Glover is going to play a much bigger role with this team. He will be a 6th Man of the Year candidate for mine if he can stay in this kind of form and have the trust of Mike Kelly, which he seems to have already. And if he continues to shoot the ball that well, like he did in the NBL1 South, like he did a couple of seasons ago in the NBL1, in the NBL main, he shot nearly 45% from 3 2 seasons ago in the NBL with the Kings, and obviously last year was way down, but that's what he's capable of. So space the floor, be a dog on defense, apply constant ball pressure, get out in transition when he can, and complement what Derek Walton Jr. and Nathan Sobey can do in those backcourt spots. You're right, I think Glover's primed for a big season.
He's been a fan favourite everywhere he's gone. They loved him down in the Gold, they loved him in Sydney, and I think he's going to be a fan favourite here in the Heartland as well. He's already staking a claim for that. As the rocket from Dellavedova tips out of court. Phoenix by 3. And how great is it to see a packed-out State Basketball Centre on a Saturday night, on the last night of winter. As Foxwell takes it down low, can't finish it off.
Got a foul on Majuk, trying to fight for that offensive rebound. Just his first, 2nd team foul for the Phoenix.
Yeah, it's just another demonstration, the appetite for NBL basketball down here in Melbourne. United taking part in one of the great championship series last season against Tasmania, looking to go one better and gain a championship that's been somewhat elusive over the last couple of seasons. They've been very close a couple of times. Tasmania's been the thorn in their side. And for the Phoenix, speaking of thorn in their sides, they're looking at them right now.
Late call there, but I think it was the right call. That's going to be an offensive foul on Malik Lewis. Just extended that shoulder into Kyle Bowen, who took the charge. Sobey and Jordan Hunter back in as Glover and Majuk take a seat.
So tell us about Malik Lewis. What can we expect to see out of him this season?
Yeah, young man out of Trinidad and Tobago originally. He's 19 years old. He spent last year in the G League with the Mexico City Capitanes. I hope I'm saying that right. Averaged 9 points, 6 rebounds a game. Active defensively, a steal, 1.2 blocks. Shoots it pretty well. He shot 37% from 3 last season. Hit 43 threes across the season, across his 34 games. Before that, he was in Spain. Playing in the ACB, limited minutes as a youngster, obviously. He was like 17, 18 years old at that point in time. But he's going to be really good for this team. He's going to play a solid role for them off the bench this season, kind of swinging between, anywhere really between those 2 and 4 spots. He's probably more of a 3/4, to be honest, in the NBL. And obviously with the hopes of getting drafted next year in the NBA, where he'll probably play predominantly that 3 spot. He had a really good showing on Thursday night, as I said. 15 points, 6 of 11 from the field, 3 of 6 from downtown, 3 offensive rebounds as well, so active. And that's what they love about him.
Got it done there on defense. 1 of 2 at the line. The Phoenix have a 4-point lead in the later stages of the first quarter.
And Joel Foxwell's into the game, the new DP signing by Melbourne United, guarding his older brother Owen. So a little Foxwell on Foxwell action here in the preseason.
Throwdown family edition. Here's Sobey. Speaking of fresh starts, looking to link up with Hunter. Couldn't execute that time. You get the sense they're going to be able to do so more often than not this campaign. Delhi hands off down low. The dunk won't count from Lee.
Delhi knew where Lee was the entire time there, just lurking in that dunker spot, and he was just waiting for the defense to commit to get him the ball. Unfortunately, the foul committed before he could. So 14 fouls apiece, bonus for both teams from here on out.
It's going to be very difficult, near on impossible, obviously, to replace guys like Joe Lawal-Lachul and Ariel Hukporti, but bringing in someone like Marcus Lee, who knows the program, who's been involved with the club before, as Delhi's pass was tipped. The Phoenix continuing to get on top here.
Owen Foxwell read that perfectly. Knows that's what Delhi loves to do.
Now take him to the line.
Middle pick and roll, middle high pick and roll, and then wait for his big man to roll and try and lob it up. And Sobey will go to the line for bonus free throws here.
Just back on Marcus Lee, it's a real luxury for Dean Vickerman to bring someone in that is known by the club. He knows the schemes, he knows the setup, and he can just slot straight back in, obviously after winning the championship with Tasmania last season.
Yeah, absolutely. And, he spent a lot of time as a starter when he was here with United 2 seasons ago, playing alongside Ariel Hukporti. And last year he started every game for Tasmania, but Will Magnay probably played more minutes off the bench. So it's just the way that Scott Roth ran those rotations. But yeah, you're right. Lee's very capable, knows the league, knows his system, as you said, but knows what kind of role they want out of him as well. And that's really anchoring the defense in the paint, setting screens like that, rolling, diving hard to the rim, and whatever offense they get out of him is a bonus. He's not someone you're going to really throw the ball into in the low block and let him go to work. He'll do it on occasion, but he'll get his points from transition, from pick and roll, from offensive boards. But anchoring that defense when you lose both Lawal-Lachul and Ariel Hukporti, who are both so great in that role, is really big for Melbourne United as they try and replace that production.
Illy Fowl taking it down low. He'll go to the line for 2. The Phoenix up by 6. 2 left in the first quarter. We know the importance that Shaley brings to this Melbourne United ball club each and every season. What do you think we're going to see out of Shay this year?
Just more of the same. I mean, you're talking about the defensive player of the year from last year, someone who's comfortable whether he's starting or coming off the bench, whether he's running the offense or playing off the ball. He's just versatile for them. And, you know, his three balls struggled last season at the NBL level, but we've seen him be really good in seasons past at that. He shot it a little bit better in the NBL 1 this season, but probably still a bit low by his standards. He was at about 33% in the NBL 1, was at probably a career low 24% from three last season with United, so that can only go up. He was 38%, 41%, and 43% the previous 3 years, so that's probably more indicative, that high 30 to 40% from three. But it's what he does on the defensive end that obviously is why Dean Vickerman loves him so much.
Lee with the hook, no good. Goes over the side for United possession. And we saw a couple of seasons ago when Neely was out for long periods of time, just the balance that he brings to this Melbourne United setup. When he's not in that lineup, it really does throw a lot of things out. We saw that a couple of years back. Indeed,
I mean, and you know, you saw last season how well he worked with Matthew Dellavedova as kind of a two-headed point guard monster, if you will. I mean, pick your poison about who you want to go against if you're an offensive player.
So see there, just would not give up on it. Eventually found his spot and cuts the lead to 3. Oh, nice float up the block from Lee.
Well, they're saying it hit the backboard first. I think that was pretty close, but two of the officials had that call, so that'll count for Vodanovic. They were teammates with Tasmania last season, having a little bit of a laugh about it. Vodanovic was there as an injury replacement for Majuk Deng and there for a lot of that late season action. Won a ring together.
It's a bond that doesn't get broken easily when you win a championship together. Zilli will get more free throw opportunities here. Getting himself to the line with some consistency here, Shea Ili, and that's to be expected.
Derek Walton picks up his first.
Sobey guarded well by Lee, hands it off to Hunter, and he finishes the job.
Terrific pass by Sobey there, just to kind of wrap that backwards to Geordie Hunter.
Foxball from deep. The Phoenix by 5. Just over half a minute left in the first. Hunter from downtown, that one too strong.
And you're starting to get a sense of what Nathan Sobey can bring to this team this season. Really versatile skill set. Active on both ends of the floor, but just aggressive. That mentality of someone who he'll just attack the rim at every opportunity. And they need that. They need, especially with Mitch Creek no longer here, they need someone who can just go and get a bucket on occasion. And that's what Sobey's done over the course of his career. And it's a different look for Mitch Creek, obviously, but with the way this team is going to want to run with the likes of Walton Jr., Angus Glover, Geordie Hunter, Malik Lewis, all these guys that want to get up and down the floor, Nathan Sobey is going to be a massive part of that and going to be really relied on to be probably their primary scorer this season.
Phoenix with a game-high 7-point lead. For a team built with heavy offensive artillery, putting up 28 points in the opening quarter against the team that were one bucket away from a championship last autumn is not a bad place to start. More free throws coming up for Shea Ili.
This will be free throw attempts 5 and 6 already for Ili. He shot 88% from the free throw line in the NBL 1 this season with Sandringham. 74% in NBL 24.
And he gets both here.
5 out of 6 tonight.
3-second differential between the shot and game clock. Walton Jr. being guarded by Shea Illy. He's going to wind down the time. Cuts left. Sees no options. Going to do it himself. Step back, Jay. Money. Lost his balance. Didn't matter.
I'll tell you what, Shea Illy defended that pretty well, but Walton Jr. was better for it. Probably could have been a foul too, but referee Elliot Green, I think, telling Walton Jr. that maybe it was him that kicked the leg out. But a great way to end the quarter for the Phoenix, and this home crowd's loving it.
It's the Phoenix by 7 after 1, 30-23. That is a very nice offensive return for the South East Melbourne Phoenix.
47% from the field across that first quarter. 50%, excuse me, with that last shot from Walton Jr. 9 of 18 from the field. 3 out of 6 from deep, and 9 out of 10 from the free throw line. There were a lot of free throw attempts in that first quarter. 18 between the two teams. So a really hot start for the Phoenix. Sobey leads them with 8 points, tied with Angus Glover. Vodanovic has 7. They're the leading scorers for the Phoenix. Illy has 10 for Melbourne United to lead the visitors tonight, Julian. And again, caveat, as you said at the top, this is a preseason game, and we know some of the bigger name players will be on limited minutes tonight, but it's a good opportunity just to kind of test what you've been working on in practice so far in preseason. For United, getting those 4 players back on the floor after they didn't play on Tuesday night, and again prepping for the Blitz, where they'll start to take these games a bit more seriously in terms of the minutes they allocate. Whereas for the Phoenix, it's about getting familiarity. There's a lot of new faces here. I was chatting with Simon Mitchell, who's the GM of basketball here at the Phoenix, and he pointed out an interesting fact to me that I hadn't really thought about, but he coached this team 2 seasons ago in NBL25, and there's only 1 player left on the roster from that season today, and that's Owen Foxwell, who was a development player. So the rest of this roster is brand new either last season or this season. So the more they can play together, the more they can build some chemistry and really try and attack this season from the get-go.
It's not just that, but the way that the pre-season is structured. We've got the games this weekend and rolling into next week with the Wildcats overseas, and then straight into the Blitz on the Gold Coast, and then after that, it's Hoops Fest. So unlike in seasons past where there's been perhaps a week's break after the Blitz, or a couple of weeks break after the Blitz before the season starts, you're essentially going right through in this campaign, which gives that chance for cohesion, really an extra opportunity to form as well without it being broken by a week or 2 gap. It's been stolen here for United. Illy with the give to Bowen. And now they can float it to Clark. Oh, that's a nice feed. Low finishes. Back to 5 points.
entree for the main course. Of course, the opening pre-season games here is just the entree to the main course, which is our opening throwdown at John Cain Arena coming up at the end of September. You get your tickets at tickettech.com.au to see the throwdown in action at John Cain Arena between the South East Melbourne Phoenix and Melbourne United. Head to tickettech.com.au to book your tickets for season 2025 to see your Phoenix in action at John Cain Arena. Tickettech.com.au. Number 11, Derek Jr. picks up his third personal foul. Olivia Machado at the line for 2 free throws. Make some noise, Phoenix fans! South of the Phoenix, Matt Kenyon, Jordan Hunter, Nathan Sobey, checking into the lane for the Phoenix. Promoting Livingston, Angus Scriber. Nathan Selby in the line for 2.
Phoenix ball from the sideline, Joe Wieskamp to inbounds. Phoenix ball.
Fossil driving up the field. Gets it down low, the jumper doesn't drop. Hustle gets it done from Majuk. Still can't get that 3 ball to go. Can Joe Wieskamp tries it again, same result.
He's really struggling to find the range tonight. Wieskamp went 3 out of 6 on Thursday night at Wangaratta.
Golding, well, that one was very shallow by his standards. So 2 minutes remaining in the opening half here at the State Basketball Centre. It's United by 4. Bogdanovic swings that out to the corner. Wieskamp still can't find that 3-pointer. White will draw them in down low and go to the line.
We apologise for some technical difficulties. I'm told we've lost sound for a little while, but hopefully we are back. And it's been a really interesting second quarter. If you're just joining us, a game of runs. It was 30-23 after 1 in favour of the Phoenix, and the United put on a 14-0 run, and the Phoenix have been pegging them back ever since.
Jack White sinks the first. 5-point game.
Ben Eyre on the floor for the first time tonight. Didn't play on Thursday night. Just managing a little niggle. So good to see him out there.
And a drive through the lane from Lewis. Majuk won't give up on it. He gets the reward for persistence.
You love that activity from Majuk, a player who's been in and around the NBL for a number of years. Hasn't always played a big role, but always helps his team. He's 30 years old now. He was a nominated replacement player with the Jack Jumpers last year, so he did win another ring. It's his 3rd championship, one with Melbourne, one with Perth, and now one with Tasmania. Played for the Ballarat Miners this NBL 1 season. Lee upstairs from Shea Lee.
Illy to Lee. The chemistry is still as strong as ever.
And that's where you get out of Marcus Lee. That ability to dive hard to the rim and be a lob threat.
In out the elbow. Glover. Can't get that one to fall, but geez, he's been impressive in this first half. Illy the flick to White.
Speaking of impressive, that finish by Jack White. Was originally thought dunk, I think, and then he switched to the left hand to lay it in, but made no mistake. And that's what Jack White gives you in transition.
Yeah, gets the contact from Illy.
Sold some candy that time, Ben Eyre, to get Illy to bite on that one.
So a quarter that started with South East Melbourne leading by 7, and then United going on a 14-0 run. It's winding down with Melbourne United leading by 8, 49-41. And Ben Eyre to take 3 free throws to try and cut the lead down to a couple of scores.
By the way, if you're wondering where Dean Bickerman is tonight, he is here. He's sitting all the way down the end of the bench, just watching and observing. He's handed the reins, the head coaching reins tonight, to David Barlow, one of his assistant coaches. Dean told me before the game, Barlow had to scout on South East Melbourne last year, and they went 3-0 against the Phoenix, so figured to give him a chance to try and beat them again tonight.
Golding. Wedges it.
And Lee lets the young fella, Malika Lewis, retrieve the ball, saving the energy. That possession arrow goes to the Phoenix.
Hold up, the arrow I'm looking at going towards United.
Oh, it is United. I thought they must have switched it already. There will be United ball, you're right.
I don't know if they did a quick switcheroo on you. The arrow is with United. They'll get another opportunity at it. 14 on the shot clock, 28 on the game clock. Here's Ian Clark for the men in blue. Hand off to Lee. Can't get it to drop, and he draws the foul.
It's a similar action that United runs quite often. That time, Lewis was a little bit late in help rotation and picks up the foul. So we'll send Marcus Lee to the free throw line after this timeout. United caught on 26 points in this second quarter, and they've held South East Melbourne to 11. And we know United, one of the elite defensive teams in the league, ever since Dean Vickerman took over the reins as head coach. And that didn't change last season, and it looks like it won't change again this season.
Well, they've held the Phoenix to 11 points in this second quarter after giving up 30 in the first. Very unlike Melbourne United to give up a 30-piece.
Certainly made those adjustments. The Phoenix are shooting 4 of 19 from the field in this second quarter.
Angus Glover's been the standout from the Phoenix point of view. He's well and truly coming for his redemption season.
11 points tonight, 3 of 4 from the field, all threes. Hit a couple of free throws as well, 3 boards, 1 assist.
For Melbourne United, Shea Illy's been a standout, I think, for what we've seen out of him so far.
Illy leads all scorers with 13. He has 3 assists as well. Playing some great trademark on-ball defense. Marcus Lee, a little bit of an adventure at the free throw line. Shot 54% last season with Tasmania, 55% the season before with United.
It's the first to put United up to 50. 21.1 on the clock. The shot clock is off. And that's a double-figure lead for the first time tonight. Glover's going to take it up the floor for the last possession of the half. Tanner Krebs guarding him. Glover's got 7 to move it. Gives out left, takes it down low himself. Can't finish. Neither could Majok. Glover's out of time. Lee blocked him anyway, and that was a statement on D from United. They're going to halftime up by 10, 51-41.
Yeah, and you said it, Jules. It's the defensive end of the floor that's really done it for United so far in this first half. Made the adjustments at quarter time, and you know, if you're Dean Vickerman sitting back and watching tonight, you're loving the way your team is competing in what's really a meaningless game. He told me pre-game that they're really still just ramping up, and you know, they're trying to get themselves in a better state to attack that blitz next weekend when they go up to the Gold Coast and start their action there. Each team obviously plays 3 games at the blitz, but tonight is really just another hit out for them. But one thing you can never take away from Vickerman coach teams is their defense. And that's kind of set and ingrained in that United culture. It's held them in such good stead as contenders the last few years. So that's probably really pleasing to see for him, because you don't really expect the offense to be clicking at this time of year at all. So to hold the Phoenix to just 11 points in that second quarter is a great effort. If you're South East Melbourne, though, Mike Kelly's got a few things to work through. I mean, where does this offense come from? How do they get some cleaner looks? How do they get Joe Wieskamp going? Because he was really good for them the other night. You know, how do they get Geordie Hunter a bit more involved in the game? He hasn't really had a massive impact so far. And again, another player who's still kind of ramping up through this preseason. But you want to use these games just to find some things that work and then just try and get better at them week by week. But again, you don't put too much stock into the results, but you just want to see some improvement from game to game.
It's United by 10 in the pre-season throwdown. A sold-out State Basketball Centre, glued to the edge of their seats on this Saturday night. Plenty to like from both clubs. The big second half still to come.
Jamie, high five out trying for grabs. All right, Nico steps up to the plate. All right, well, David's still failing down there for free throw line. It is just, oh, that's a good idea, David. Nico's still struggling. David, you hit your free throw. That's all right, David. You hit it. That's right. Come down. Hit the three-pointer. Let's go, David. Come on. You find yourself affected on the voucher. The question is, Father's Day, as you know, is I think tomorrow. So the question is, I have a Bunnings voucher. Does Dad David deserve the Bunnings voucher? That's the question.
I mean, I feel bad he lost argument.
Oh, give it up for Nico. He's done the right thing. So Bunnings voucher for Dad. Jamie high five voucher. Make some noise for Nico and David, everybody.
Thanks for being with us on this Saturday night, wherever you may be, as we are at the State Basketball Centre, along with a sold-out crowd for the throwdown matchup, a pre-season throwdown between the South East Melbourne Phoenix and Melbourne United. At the half, it's United by 10 points, and after the Phoenix led by 7 at the end of the first. So with Julia Marcus and Tom Hirsch on this Saturday evening, it is absolutely jam-packed here in the heartland. This is exactly what you want to see. South East Melbourne, the first time in their locality throughout this season. They've got of course the 10 home games at John Cain Arena. They'll be playing a few out here during the month of January with the State Basketball Centre. It's always wonderful to come out to this building, Tom, and to see the true heartland, taking it to the people for the Phoenix. This is where their catchment lies, and it's great for them to be able to get a little taste of what's to come against the crosstown rivals.
It is indeed. It's always special when they play games here, and we do see a few regular season games each season as well. It's also the home of the Phoenix now full-time. They've trained here always, but now they have a brand new facility that adjoins this building. State-of-the-art facilities for the players and their front office staff. All their training, all their recovery, all their treatment, players' lounge. It's all set up there as professional as you can be. So this is absolutely the home of the Phoenix and that heartland. And it's a treat for them to come and get to play in this venue amongst in front of their home fans. And obviously with a brand new roster this season, a number of changes, as we spoke about at the top, it's a great chance for their fans to get a glimpse, their first look at these players. Obviously played on Thursday night, but up in Wangaratta, I'm not sure how many of the Heartland faithful made that drive. I'm sure there would have been a few, but obviously a much easier one to get to tonight here in Wantirna South.
And the big question really around South East Melbourne as we get underway for the third quarter is it's the first time that we're seeing the Phoenix without the number 55 on the floor, Mitchell Creek. Mitch Creek's been the South East Melbourne Phoenix since their inception. He's been the heart and soul of this club. He's been the leader. He's been the face of the franchise. Now we're in the second iteration of the Phoenix. Simon Mitchell no longer head coach, still a part of the club, of course. Mike Kelly now in the main role, and Mitch Creek is gone. Stelly leaves that short. Who's your nominee to become that new face of the Phoenix? Oof. Well, won't be Jack White with those kind of blocks. That's just rude.
Great play by Jack. It's a really interesting question.
That's an obvious one.
It's a really interesting question that you asked, Jules, because, I mean, in terms of who is going to be the alpha dog on this team, you probably think it's going to be Nathan Sobey this season. But Sobes, you know, I don't want to say he's old. He's not old yet, but he's certainly not in the prime of his career where he's going to be here for the next 5, 6, 7 years. Is it someone like an Angus Glover potentially?
That would be my nominee.
Who, you know, is going to be everything that kind of embodies what the Phoenix want to be about, that heartland grit and grind, getting into the community. We know he's already part of it. As Golding hits the pull-up long two.
Finds that touch from the top of the key.
I don't know there is a ready-made replacement that can just walk into the shoes that Mitch Creek used to fill. And we'll have to see how that plays out later this season.
Oh, Marcus Lee just looking at where he's getting with disdain. Are you kidding me?
Such disrespect.
Are you kidding me?
Wow, and again, that's what Marcus Lee brings to this team, to try and replace what they got out of Joe Luala-Chul Jr. and Ariel Hook-Porty. Jordan has a little bit more success against Lee. Gets one back for his teammate.
Talk about disrespect.
And you love that. Oh, Geordie sticking up for his teammate Joe, his new teammate.
Oh, and Lee says, all right, you got that? I've got an alley-oop for you. Cop some of this.
We've got a bit of fun happening now, Jules. End-to-end action.
It's a bit of spice in this one now. Let's get it on. Bogdanovic for the triple. He was fouled by White as he landed.
White just knew he got there a bit late. That'll be 3 shots for Bogdanovic.
It's United by 8.
Just a tad. Ginger might have just turned that ankle, that left ankle, I think, over a little bit. He's just stretching it out here before these free throws.
Vodanovic hits the trio of free throws. He can cut the lead to 5 if he does so. He hits the first. Second one does not go. Hunter is ready to go back on D.
Number of players not realising there was a third free throw still to come.
Just walk in the concourse at half-time. Let me tell you, it is absolutely heaving here at the State Basketball Centre. Just 1 of 3 at the line for Vodanovic. So an opportunity lost for the Phoenix to cut the lead to 2 scores. And Lee goes back to the well.
And I tell you what, I think that's a combination we're going to see a lot of this season.
Sobey chucks up the prayer. United's overpowering them now. Clark, the pull-up floater, just didn't have the touch.
Delhi was not with United when Lee was here 2 seasons ago. So this is really the first time these two are playing together.
Hunter cashes in. Well, this is a taste of things to come. That's going to be an exciting duopoly. Dellavedova linking up this time, looking for White. He caught up, it landed before he could make a play.
I think Geordie Hunter was wise to at that time. Saw the lob coming. Ball will stay with United though. 12 seconds on the shot clock. Angus Glover and Ben Eyre check back into the game. Nathan Sobey and Tom Vodanovic will take a rest. And Campbell Blogg checks in for the first time tonight for Melbourne United. Another one of the development players for this United roster. Another one of the players who spends their off-season with the Sandringham Sabres.
Lee and Dellavedova combining again. That's going to be a connection. That's going to light it up by the looks of it. If tonight's anything to go by, Delhi's fadeaway jumper doesn't hit.
Well defended that time by the Phoenix.
Sparked into action, I think, from those back-to-back lobs. And that one's a brick.
Joe Wieskamp is really struggling tonight. 0 for 7 from the field now.
It's getting further and further away. White hits the side of the rim. It's United by 7. 3.5 minutes into the third quarter. Oh, that was a lovely feed from Hunter. If it doesn't work in deep, you go down low and Wieskamp cashes in for 2.
And he finally sees one drop, and that's big for him. Joe Wieskamp is a big-time scorer. Make no mistake about it as he gets called for that foul there. Golding draws it, and Wieskamp just leaned in a little bit too close from behind there, locking and trailing. Joe Wieskamp last year in the G League split his time between the Maine Celtics and the Texas Legends. Shot 49% from the field overall, 35% from deep. So he can score. He played some summer league this year with Minnesota. Limited minutes, but shot it pretty well there as well. 57% from three-point range at summer league. He went 4 of 7 overall in that tournament. And obviously shot it well on Thursday night at Wangaratta, but has just struggled here tonight so far as he takes a rest for Owen Foxwell.
No one doesn't fall for Golding. 1 of 2 with one to come.
Stunned. And CG misses a free throw.
So United's lead is 6. 6 to play in the third.
Golding an 80% free throw shooter on the season last year.
Phoenix in there. Road White's at home, which takes it back to a day gone by almost. Yeah, oh, that's a nice connection with Hunter.
And we're starting to see Geordie Hunter do Geordie Hunter things in this quarter. And it's not complicated. He's setting good screens, he's diving to the rim, he's getting to that dunker spot, he's making himself a target, and he finishes strong.
Illy left a bit of space for the 3, couldn't deliver. And
getting
Hunter's
active on the D-boards and
barreled over by White.
making friends with Jack White in the process. But if Geordie Hunter can get this team 10, 12, 14 points a game, it's going to be big for this Phoenix team to get that production. Obviously, he's coming in to fill that 5-man spot that Alan Williams had the last couple of seasons with the Phoenix. And Williams, we know, could really fill it up in terms of his offensive numbers and his rebound numbers. Geordie Hunter's not going to put up such gaudy numbers, but he is going to play a really important role. And he's going to make his teammates better, more importantly.
Here's Glover, who was really solid in that first half. He was outstanding. Hunter is starting to take over.
Speaking of making your teammates better, exactly right. He's just really, really fundamentally sound, Geordie Hunter. He's a really smart player. Really improved the last couple of years up in Sydney. And again, a chance for him to have a fresh start as he commits the foul that time on Marcus Lee. But a chance for him to come down here, sign a 3-year deal. Has some out clauses, but he'll be here this season at least. But it's a fresh start for Geordie Hunter. And they really love what he's about. And they love the fact that he's got a connection with Derek Walton Jr. and Angus Glover already, because that's really important whenever you go to a new team.
So Lee hits the first. Push the margin back at the 3.
I was just looking at the free throw numbers for Melbourne United. They were the worst free throw shooting team in the league last season at less than 70%. And tonight, 16 of 20, 80%. So that's a nice improvement for this team.
That is a noticeable uptick.
And Marcus Lee, 4 of 4 as well.
As you mentioned, he has been an adventure at the line in previous times. He can become a more consistent free throw outlet. That unlocks a world of opportunity for United as Kenyon misses the triple. It's Tanner Krebs now for the boys in blue. Nine on the shot clock. Krebs hits the jumper from the elbow.
Solid from Krebs. Now in his second year with Melbourne United, coming down from the Brisbane Bullets.
You a fan of the new blue singlets from United? First time we're seeing them on the floor.
Actually, just thinking about that, and I don't mind them. It's different. It's a different look for them. But as an alternative jersey, I actually don't mind it.
They've really lent into the blue over the last couple of seasons. And I know as Navy that it really did look black at times, the Melbourne United singlets evolved. Of course, a brand refresh, a new logo, a new look, a new feel. Now 10 years of Melbourne United.
And what a great job they've done in terms of just solidifying themselves amongst this Melbourne sporting landscape.
Kenyon left him in the spin zone, but didn't get the reward. No look for Millie. Oh, the drop from Krebs.
Tough finish from Krebs there in transition. Great dime from Shaili. Those two spent the offseason together with Sandringham.
And just like that, United's back out to an 8-point lead. A game of runs as it has been all night.
There's that defensive pressure from Melbourne United again, making life really tough for this Phoenix offense. 3.8 seconds left on the shot clock here.
What is the ceiling for United this season? I mean, the obvious is to say to go one further, as Mike Kelly calls a timeout. But
well, that is their goal, right? And, you know, yes, there's no Joe Luala-Chul, there's no Ariel Hook-Porty, there's no Luke Travers. I get all that, but the core of this team remains. They've filled some of those plugs by some of those holes, by bringing back Jack White, bringing back Marcus Lee. And when your two biggest off-season signings are players who've been in your program before, you've got a big advantage or a big head start in terms of getting up to speed. But this team is all about trying to contend for a championship again. I mean, they feel like they let one slip, and in many ways they did in that epic 5-game series against the Tasmania Jack Jumpers. I know from speaking to Dean Vickerman in the off-season, he wanted his players to remember that feeling. He wanted them to play in as many high-pressure games as possible. The guys that were playing NBL1, he was thrilled that some of them were playing in the finals. He was thrilled that some of his guys were up in the Sunshine Coast for the national finals as well. He wants them to understand what it takes to win a championship so that when they come to those moments, hopefully in this season's grand final series, they can go one better and they can correct what went wrong.
Well, you look at United since that first championship back in 2018, losing the next season in the championship series to Perth 3-1. Then they threw away game one against Sydney in the semi-final series. It cost them that series. NBL 21, they win that second championship. But then since then, NBL 22, they lose a 1-0 lead against Tasmania in the semi-finals. NBL 23, they're also rounds. And then last year, they miss out in an all-time classic. You get the feeling that there should be another championship in the cabinet for Melbourne United. As Illy takes it down the hill and it swings around wickedly on the rim. Foxwell has to scramble. But looking from the outside, it would almost be disappointing from a United perspective if they can't get that third championship in this run. 2 championships is fantastic, yes, but they've been so close so many times, and you just wonder, is this the year to do it? How many more opportunities are they going to get with Chris Golding at the core, with Shea Illy at the core of this lineup?
Matthew Dellavedova as well. You throw into that mix.
It really does. It would feel like it almost just left something out there.
I mean,
a little underdone.
Last year was the one that got away for them. You know, the best team all season, 20-8 in the regular season, minor premiers, and they were in a winnable position. And then Jack McVeigh happened, really.
Krebs.
But they were in a winnable position in Game 5 as well. And again, take absolutely nothing away from the Jack Jumpers, who played a phenomenal series. But United will absolutely feel like that one got away from them, and they, as you said, they probably should have another trophy in the cabinet right now.
A lot of the talk around the NBL and the experts is that it's Sydney's title to lose on paper, and then Perth are perennially up there as many people's picks. But I really do get the sense that if it doesn't happen for Melbourne United this campaign, is that moment going to be past them then? Like, they'll always be contenders, just the way the club is set up, but you just feel for this evolution of Melbourne United, and this goes back to 2018, the Chris Golding era, if you will. Not saying he's going to pull up stumps at the end of the year, but it just feels like this might be the big shot. Speaking of big shots, that was a beautiful ball from Ben Eyre.
Well, one thing I'd say to you is, don't forget Chris Golding made the All-NBL first team last season. So even though he's 35 years old, he's in prime form, and there's no reason he can't replicate that this season. And he's going to have a chip on his shoulder. He's going to have a chip for the fact that he didn't win that title last season. He's probably going to have a bit of a chip on his shoulder from the fact that he was left out of that Boomers team for the Paris Olympics. So don't underestimate what Chris Golding can bring again in NBL 25.
United by 6 points with 2 minutes to play in the third. Sobey. Oh, it's a nice delivery to Vodanovic. Cuts it to 4.
And I love the way that Tom Vodanovic just plays his role. Wherever he's gone, he's been a teammate that has been loved.
Speaking of Golding, evergreen at the rim.
Vodanovic spent time with New Zealand, with Sydney, with Tasmania. Every stop, he's been one that his teammates have loved playing with, one that his coaches have really enjoyed having part of the group, whether he plays a big role or not. He works hard, he practices hard, he makes his teammates better, and he just makes good reads and smart plays.
It's a lovely steal from Ben Eyre, read it well. And now from deep, Lewis can't cash in. The ball will stay with the Phoenix.
Well, much better defensive quarter from the Phoenix here in the third. Held United to 15 points so far with just a tick over a minute to go.
.12 on the shot clock. Scoop pass to Lewis. Took too many steps.
Just shuffled the feet as he was trying to up fake to go again against that attack, that closeout.
From what you've read and you've seen some people's preseason picks, and they're only going to increase in their frequency over the next few weeks. Golding from deep. The years may change, but the threes stayed the same.
Second triple tonight for CG, up to 11 points now. It's a third United player in double figures. And Sobey attacks the rim.
Who knew Sobey had hops like that?
Well, I think we all did, didn't we?
It's been a while.
It has. He's very capable still. And Sobey bringing some excitement to the Heartland fans.
Golding can't cash in again.
He only played limited minutes on Thursday, but he's playing a much bigger role tonight, and he's really making a nice impact, is Nathan Sobey.
Speaking of guys with chips on their shoulder.
20 points now tonight for Sobey. Excuse me, 18.
Do you think Nathan Sobey may fall into that camp after the last couple of seasons, looking to find his place in the NBL now with a new home at South East Melbourne, to be the guy again?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot said and written about how he exited from the Brisbane Bullets. And, you know, whatever happened has happened. He's down back in Victoria. It's his home state. It's where he's from. Originally, he's a Warrnambool boy. And he wanted to be here. And he's got a great opportunity with this team. A team that's been completely rebuilt over the off-season. He's played 11 seasons in the league, 250 games. All NBL first team, all NBL second team 3 times. He's a superstar of this league and has been for a long time. And to come down and have a chance to turn this franchise around, really, for a franchise that's had its opportunities in years past but hasn't quite put it all together yet since they've been in the league. It's an exciting moment for Sobey to be a part of that.
Delhi, the feed to Golding now. Clark at the buzzer. Not this time. It's a 3-point game as we turn for home at the State Basketball Centre in Melbourne. It's United 69, the Phoenix 66.
How good has this crowd been tonight, Julian?
Outstanding.
Always fun when you come to a game here at the SBC. It's one of those venues that just creates an atmosphere. The way it's set up, the way the crowd is angled down towards the floor. They're loud, they're vocal, they're excitable, and they're just enjoying seeing some NBL preseason action here. As we said, first time they're getting to see this Phoenix team this preseason. Many of them would not have travelled to Wangaratta. And to be playing against their crosstown rivals in a really competitive game, it's just been great to watch so far.
Back on those pre-season picks that we're seeing so far, a lot of it's been for the men in purple up in Sydney. Perth's been the next best. Do you think people are sleeping on United a little bit?
I don't know if people are sleeping on them. I think they're probably just not talking about them as much because it's kind of rinse-repeat from last year. And I think most of the experts will have United absolutely making the finals again and as one of the championship contenders, as rightly they should be. But I think obviously the disappointment of the Sydney Kings season last year and bringing in Brian Goorjian and the excitement that having him back in Sydney, having him back in the NBL, the championship credentials that he brings with him, obviously. Some of the moves they've had to retool the roster. Xavier Cook's coming back. Space Cam coming back, obviously, as well. And the excitement around that. I think that's why there's a lot of buzz. But they've put together a really nice roster up there with the Kings. And, you know, pre-season or not, what they did last night, you have to take notice of. absolutely dismantling the New Zealand Breakers, winning by 44 points. Yeah, it's preseason, but that was a really impressive showing. Anytime you can score 120 points in a game, you need to take that seriously. It's a really high-powered offense. They're going to come to play. And rightly so, they're getting some recognition. And notwithstanding the fact they won 2 championships in a row the season before last. So last season was a bit of a blemish, if you will. And I think people are expecting them to contend again. I certainly am.
I think there's no question about it that the Sydney Kings outfit is built to win a title come next autumn. As Ellie can't get it to go. Final quarter action here at the State Basketball Centre in Melbourne. Julia Marcus and Tom Hirsch with you tonight. Final pre-season hit out for both sides before they head up to the Gold Coast for the blitz. And Malik Lewis is ready to hit the Sunshine Strip with that kind of shot.
First bucket tonight for Malik Lewis. He's had his struggles as well. Hasn't really taken many shots. That was just his 3rd attempt. As Ian Clark hits right back for United. And we are tied with the United. Sorry, we were tied. United takes the lead again.
Phoenix for Foxwell. Open look at 3. Bullseye!
And the Phoenix take the lead for the first time in a long while now. They've led for just 6 minutes of this game.
Sat on the rim. Lee looking to tip it in. Didn't get it to roll. Knocked out to Clark. No good. And Foxwell again. Scrappy down low. Kenyon to Lewis. He was fouled as he shot it by Lee, who almost ran out of the building.
Lewis made sure that he drew some contact as Lee flew by and earned himself a trip to the free throw line.
It's the Phoenix by 1. Attendance here tonight, a full house, just a tick under 3,000. So we're at capacity here at the State Basketball Centre. They've sold it out. They can't fit another human in here. As Lewis leaves that one on the rim. It sets the table perfectly. It sets the appetite here in Melbourne for September 26, which I think is a beautiful bit of scheduling. The night before the grand final public holiday. It's a crowded period of time in Melbourne sport-wise, I know, but I think that is inch perfect from the powers that be. You're going to get a sellout. You're going to get 10,000 in for that one.
Well, for all those fans whose AFL teams are out of the finals at that stage.
Which is most of them here in this city.
Yep.
Lee with the floater. Doesn't get it to go. And the ball just evaded Lewis. It slipped through his fingertips. Not only that, but you may have some friends from out of town who might want to go and check it out. Again, if you haven't got your tickets for that, I recommend getting them post-haste. Golding slows time down, but doesn't get it to flush.
Speaking of friends from out of town who want to check it out, Josh Giddey in the house tonight, checking out this NBL preseason action before he heads over to Chicago to start his NBA preseason with his new team.
Speaking of guys with points to prove this season, I shudder to think what he could be capable of in a Bulls singlet. He's going to be a motivated young man, and we certainly know what he's capable of at his best. We saw it here in the NBL. We've seen it with the Boomers. We've seen it in the past in the NBA. As the Phoenix get their noses in front, and they bring this crowd to its feet here at the State Basketball Centre.
Well, some great minutes from Owen Foxwell. No longer a development player, is part of the full roster, and they've got a crowded backcourt, this Phoenix roster this season, between Walton Jr., Sobey, Glover, Ben Ayre. So minutes for Owen Foxwell come the regular season may be hard to come by on a regular basis, but he's someone that can give them a different look like that. He's a dynamic player. He's a bit of a combo guard. Will play primarily point guard, but he can score. He had a really strong season with the Eltham Wildcats alongside Angus Glover in the NBL1 South Conference. He was a MVP finalist as well. Had 26 points, 7 rebounds and 6 assists as the Eltham Wildcats claimed that NBL1 South Grand Final win. So a young man who's continuing to get better year on year, and the sky's the limit on how good he can be. But really nice for him to get these minutes here in this preseason game tonight and just give this team a little bit of a different look. United got really what's most likely to be their starting 5 this season. And Ian Clark or Shea Ellie, one of them will start, one will be the 6th man. But Delhi, Clark, Lee, White, Golding.
Oh, it's Lob City in Melbourne.
Wow.
They've done it again. Marcus Lee making a statement.
The reason I raise that is because United taking this game very seriously. Quite often we'll see the starters sitting by now in a preseason game, but not tonight.
I was going to say, I think we can throw the preseason tag out the door right about now.
I think this is one where, as I spoke about before, Dean Vickerman sees this as another opportunity to test his players in a kind of high-pressure moment. Again, it's preseason, caveat that, but a close game where you've got to really be on point and make winning plays down the stretch. So it will be interesting to see if he does, well, it's Dave Barlow tonight, but whether the United coaching staff stays with some of these guys as this game progresses.
Two shots for Angus Glover, who's been outstanding tonight.
$12 points now for Glover off the bench. He had 10 points on Thursday night against the Brisbane Bullets.
Keeps adding to that tally. The Phoenix by 4. 7:19 to play. The perfect score for Angus Glover. They love him here already. Why wouldn't you? Dellavedova kicks out to a wide open Bowen. Now to Golding. Trouble! Trouble!
And that play opened up because of the lob threat of Marcus Lee. The defense really sunk in to cut off that lob. That left Kyle Bowen wide open, and Golding just curled around to take advantage of it.
Nice step from Lewis. Bogdanovic. Boarded by Lee.
Hasn't Marcus Lee been fantastic tonight?
Now Delhi for the tray. United's back in front.
First triple of the game for Delhi.
Bogdanovic and a Foxwell. Foxwell. No options down low. Lewis, the up fake. Foxwell from deep. Left it short. We've got a whistle under the bucket. It's going against Dellavedova. 6:09 to go. Number 3 on Della.
Great work by Tom Bogdanovic there to keep that one alive. And that's the kind of hustle plays that he makes. And that's why he'll earn some minutes on this team as this season progresses. Wieskamp gets blocked again, this time by Tanner Krebs.
Just has not been his night tonight. Joe Wieskamp. We've been hoping for better when they hit the Gold Coast next week, the Phoenix for the Blitz. Now Cameron, a little too strong on the floater, but they do win the whistle. Foul on Foxwell. United by a point. 5:49 to go. Bowen with the give to Illy. Looking for his spot, finds it and cashes in. United by 3 points. Right in the middle of the heartland we are tonight. This is Phoenix country. As there's jumper misses, Majuk puts it back in. The sweep was sweet last year in the throwdowns for United, but to beat the Phoenix here, just a little extra sweetness on the cake.
Well, that was
Melbourne United.
16th offensive rebound for the Phoenix. United have 17 of their own. Both teams will be looking at how they can improve their defensive rebounding from tonight's game.
Illy left it on the rim. Go-ahead opportunity for the Phoenix. Bogdanovic loses his footing. Gets up limping, but he's okay. 10 on the shot clock. Air. Lets it fly. Majuk the board. Too many steps.
Thought he was bumped, but no call. The ball will go back to United. 4:33 to play. It's a 1-point lead to Melbourne.
So how hard do these two teams now go for the win? Do you start to throw a bit of extra intensity, a bit of extra oomph into it?
Well, you'll notice that those 5 players for United are all on the bench now. I dare say they may be done. And if you look at who's on the floor for the Phoenix too, with the exception of Joe Wieskamp, no other well, I guess Bogdanovic is a starter tonight, but he won't be when the regular season starts. But Glover's come back in, so that's an indication that the Phoenix want to get this win. Could be morale boosting for them. They lost on Thursday night. Obviously, last season ended up a bit of a horror run towards the end with all those injuries they had. So it might be nice just to get a W before they head up to the Gold Coast for the Blitz.
5 on the shot clock, low in the paint. Gets it to go.
Derek Walton Jr., by the way, will take no further part in this game. Just getting a little bit of treatment in the locker room on his calf. Just a precaution, I'm told. Nothing to be concerned about, but no reason to risk him in a preseason game.
We just spoke about the nightmare run of injuries that the Phoenix had last season. They'll certainly be risk averse before we've even gotten to the start line.
Crowd here getting on this United team at the line.
Rob Lowe. Can't hit the extra. It's a 1-possession game. 4 minutes left to go. Sold out here at the State Basketball Centre in Melbourne. Foxwell gets himself to the line for 2. 4 minutes flat to run.
I love the trust that Mike Kelly has to put the ball in Owen Foxwell's hands and let him go and create there. First free throws tonight for Foxy.
2 pivotal ones in the outcome of this ball game. 83-81. Misses the second, but he gets the board. Bogdanovic to put him in front.
Called a deep 2.
Foot on the line. Must have been a toe on the line. We're tied up.
Referee Shannon Jennings right on the spot there for that one.
Low scoops to Illy. Oh, Foxwell, no, it's
Came from
gonna be
behind to try and
foul.
block it, but did get a fair bit of arm there. And Illy will go back to the line where he was making a living in the first half. 6 out of 7. I think that was all in the first quarter, actually, if I'm not mistaken. No, 5 out of 6 in the first. And hit 2 more in the second.
puts United back in front with the first. One more to come.
Well, for a pre-season game, this is all you can ask for. And just like that, here come some of those big names for Melbourne United. Golding, White, Ian Clark, all going to check back in. So you asked the question, are they trying to win it? I think you've got your answer, Julian.
I think United don't want any opportunity that they can to put one over the Phoenix.
You love to see it. You love to see it as the second pre-season game when these teams are going all out to try and win.
Glover, the Kenyan. Drives it back out. Mladenovic, that one's from deep. He misses short. United by 2. 3.25 minutes to run. White lets it hang.
Easy dump off from Ellie. Great baseline cut from Jack White.
3 minutes to go. Who are Melbourne?
7.7 boards for Jack White now tonight.
Mladenovic. The push in the paint. He's got it.
Tommy Mladenovic just continues to make plays for this Phoenix team. He's now up to 16 points. He's their second high scorer behind Nathan Sobey. And he's continues to find ways to get himself into the right spot, and produce. And as I said a few moments ago, that's why his teammates love playing with him.
Mladenovic from the line. It drops, and the margin is a single point. Going up a level here. Going up a notch. And the run into NBL25. Clark kisses the glass and cashes in the 2.
Mike Kelly wanting a travel on Clark. He thought he dragged the feet when he stopped.
Glover just didn't get it to roll. The steal from Wieskamp. Best thing he's done all night. And now Lewis the try. Kicks out to Mladenovic. It's a whistle. It's a big whistle too. It's 3 free throws.
And a technical foul's been called on Ian Clark.
And a tech.
Elliot Green makes the call. So this is a big turn of events in favour of the South East Melbourne Phoenix. There'll be 1 technical free throw first. Angus Glover's going to take that. And then 3 free throws to Tom Mladenovic.
And it's a 3-point game. Now 2. 2:15 to go. This isn't even the entree. This is the appetizer to the entree. The entree comes at the Blitz next week on the Gold Coast. And then it's off to Perth for Hoops Fest. Mladenovic hits the first for him.
The Phoenix will take on Illawarra, Sydney and Adelaide during the Blitz. United has Cairns, Brisbane and Illawarra.
Tie ball game.
And then in round 1 of the Hoops Fest in Perth, the Phoenix will play the home side, the Perth Wildcats, and United will have a grand final rematch against the Tasmania Jack Jumpers.
Left it short.
Well, Wieskamp doing well to try and keep that alive, but couldn't keep it in bounds, and it will go back to United.
Scores are level. The next time these two ball clubs will see each other, Thursday night, September 26th, John Cain Arena. Foul called.
Foul's called on Mladenovic.
That's the 4th.
Yeah. So both teams in the bonus now. Delhi checks back in. Tanner Krebs will take a seat.
2:02 remaining. Scores level. Very, very entertaining here tonight. 5 on the shot clock. White now to Illy. 2 on the shot clock. Takes it down low. Gets it to roll.
Really tough finish by Illy, but a great take. Getting to that left hand in the middle of the paint over Wieskamp. And Illy's had a really nice game tonight.
The Phoenix now. Glover got himself down into an uncomfortable spot. And through the pass, it was tipped out by Lowe, and it keeps possession with the Phoenix and 12 on the shot clock.
19 points and 5 assists for Shea Illy tonight.
Oh, that was not the inbound they were looking for. Tried the teardrop, the floater. But United now find themselves with possession and an opportunity to push it out to 4. Clark's jumper doesn't go.
United quite often puts the ball in Ian Clark's hands in late game situations. That time he came up a little bit short.
Bogdanovic, yes!
Great feed from Angus Glover. Right on the money. And Tom Bogdanovic continues to deliver for this South East Melbourne Phoenix team tonight.
It's 91 apiece with 1:12 remaining. And this crowd is energized.
Bogdanovic is now the game's high scorer with 21 points, Julian. Who would have had that coming into this one? And that's on the back of 13 points on Thursday night. So he's certainly making himself known to the Phoenix faithful, the Heartland crowd, as someone to watch this season.
Again, I can't stress it enough. If you haven't got your tickets for September 26, get them now. This sets the scene perfectly. And after first few nights of preseason basketball, this certainly has been the pick of the contest that we've seen thus far, and it just wettens the appetite a little bit more. Heading into what will be a magnificent NBL25 season. So the Blitz next weekend. Hoops Fest follows on from that over in Perth. What a spectacle that will be. The WNBL are part of the Hoops Fest activities as well. A basketball lover's paradise. And then we get going. The season proper. Of course, Hoops Fest part of the season, but after that everyone heads back home and we get into the grind of the summer. 91 apiece. Just over a minute to run. Low, look for Clark. Gives it to Delhi instead. 6 on the shot clock. Delhi in the paint. Yes! United by 2.
That's what he's so good at. And Elliot Green giving a flop warning to the Phoenix on that one. Bogdanovic tried to draw an offensive foul against Delhi.
Glover kicks it out round the horn. Foxwell does it himself.
Great take by Foxwell. Pretty good defensive rotation there by United on that possession. Foxwell just made a tough hit.
11 and a half seconds. That's the differential between the shot and game clock. Tied at 93. 8 on the shot clock for Delvedova. Looks to repeat the feat. Airballs it. Illy keeps it in. Glover's going to let it go out of play. And with 12.6 left on the clock, the Phoenix will have a chance to win it with the last possession of the night.
Well, who would have thought it would come down to this in a preseason game? We've seen some very lopsided results so far in NBL preseason action. This Thursday night's game between this Phoenix team and the Brisbane Bullets was much tighter at just a 6-point margin. But dare I say it, are we going to get free basketball tonight, Jules?
Well, I wouldn't put it past these two sides. I know this sellout crowd here at the State Basketball Centre wouldn't mind. I don't think we've got anywhere else to be. Where else would you want to be on a Saturday night? Well, we're not even in the spring.
Be interesting to see what Mike Kelly draws up here. Does he sub Nathan Sobey back? It looks like Sobey's got his knee in ice, his right knee. He does not. He'll be coming back into the game. So, do they go to Owen Foxwell? Do they go to Angus Glover? I mean, Glover's been in many late game situations with the Eltham Wildcats pretty recently.
Why wouldn't you go to
Done
Angus
pretty
Glover?
well. I think you probably do go to him here.
They lost every throwdown to Melbourne United last season, did the Phoenix, including the preseason game. You think this one it mean a little bit? The men in green? And to do it here in the heartland means that little bit more. And we wondered, what is this team going to look like when it comes to the grit that we've come to expect from the South East Melbourne Phoenix life after Mitch Creek? Well, again, you add the caveat, it's preseason, but preseason or not, the signs are there that they're going to be just fine.
Oh, whoops. Well, Phoenix not advancing the ball, which is an interesting decision, a bit risky too, because a turnover here could give United a chance to score right away.
12.6.
Well, I guess they want to run down as much clock as possible and give Angus Glover a head of steam, and here he is.
It's going to be Angus Glover with the ball. 6 seconds and counting. Scores tied in Melbourne. Glover to win it.
He's done it again!
Yes, sir!
Oh!
0.4 on the clock. Angus Glover. His name's in lights.
Wow.
Redemption season for you, Angus.
Wow.
It's begun early.
He's carried it over from the NBL1 season. Angus Glover hitting big shot after big shot. And doesn't this Heartland crowd love it? What a way to introduce yourself to your new fans. Angus Glover. Not an easy hit either. He was a couple feet behind the three-point line. He had Rob Lowe closing out on him. And he made it look easy. Clutch from Angus Glover.
We asked the question, who is going to be the new face of the franchise post Mitch Creek? Well, I think Angus Glover has certainly made an emphatic case for it to be him.
4 out of 5 from downtown tonight, Angus Glover. 18 points. And none bigger than that one right there. With half a second left to put his team up by 3.
0.5 of a second. They're not going to run Chris Golding. It's Shaley on the floor with White, Clark, Dellavedova, and Rob Lowe.
I dare say the action will be for Ian Clark, with Rob Lowe probably as a secondary option. Watch for Lowe setting a pick and popping to the top maybe. 0.5 is probably just enough time to catch and shoot, Jules.
Can United force overtime with half a second to work with? What a finale to what's been an enthralling night here at the State Basketball Centre. Clark's deep, catch and shoot. Stares down the bench.
Oh my God!
Ian Clark, you cannot strip that. You cannot teach that. Ian Clark says it's my show tonight.
This
and we're going to OT.
is amazing. Wow.
Can you believe that?
Well, Mike Kelly's just asking the question is whether he got it off in time and can it be reviewed. I don't think there's any review in preseason games, so I dare say that's going to count. But I'm pretty sure he got it off in time anyway. Wow, Ian Clark, backboard, rim, down. What a big hit.
That had a bit of everything. Angus Glover at one end, and then at the other, Ian Clark.
Can we just say, how good is the NBL? Pre-season or not, this has just been highly, highly entertaining tonight. And these fans have been treated to an absolutely great contest.
It's still winter for a few more hours. It's August.
You couldn't ask for a better advertisement for the upcoming season than this. Crosstown rivals, pre-season game, Heartland, sold-out crowd, 2 3-pointers in less than a second to send it to overtime.
Let's move the first throwdown to Rod Laver at this rate. You're not going to have problems selling tickets. You're not going to miss one of these, aren't you? Wow. We're going to overtime, 96 apiece. Ian Clark with one of the coldest buzzer beaters you will ever see.
4 of 8 tonight, Ian Clark now after that one. 16 points. He shot 43% from downtown last season. He is one of the best three-point shooters in the league. And we will go 5 more minutes.
So how do these two teams approach this now? As far as minutes restrictions and the like, where do you go from here? You don't necessarily plan for this in pre-season, do you?
No, I dare say that some of those United players will be done now. You see Campbell Blogg coming into the lineup now. It's a free hit for some of these guys. You already see Nathan Sobey, Geordie Hunter, Derek Walton all put on ice. I dare say Ben Ayres put on ice as well, given that he's been managing a little niggle injury as well.
So let's play 5 more. We're in overtime, in the throwdown, in the preseason. And the State Basketball Centre, no one's left. Still packed to the brim. Lewis, not quite on that occasion. Talk about the health of the rivalry between United and the Phoenix. Well, this is going to give it an almighty injection of adrenaline before we even reach the season. Low out to the corner. And Krebs couldn't get it to go.
Jay Ellie's down. He's taken a knock. I didn't quite see what happened, and we've got
He's slow to get up.
foul on the play too. Might be an unsportsmanlike.
Back on his haunches. There was
It is.
a tumble of bodies.
It's on Rob Lowe.
And spoke a little earlier on in the game about some of the injury issues he had a couple of seasons back. Shea Ely, you really hope that he doesn't have a recurrence, because he brings so much to this Melbourne side. He looks to be okay.
Yeah, you worry about the concussion history he's had, but this clearly was not any way head-related. He is going to take a rest, though. Joel Foxwell checks back in. They won't take any risk.
I think they've taken one look at that and said, no, we're not
Marcus
going to risk
Lee
it.
back in for Rob Lowe as well. Lowe played a heavy load in that fourth quarter. Meanwhile, Angus Glover to the line for 2 free throws, and the Phoenix will get the ball back as well. Glover being great tonight, now up to 19 points.
Misses the second.
This is his first free throw miss of the evening. He was 7 of 7 before that.
Phoenix with possession, up by 1 in overtime. What a night. Sets the table beautifully. Ben Ayre with 3 on the shot clock. Bogdanovic from deep. Yes, 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 yes.
Oh, Tom Bogdanovic. What a night he's having. Great signing by the Phoenix this offseason.
Phoenix by 4. 100 plays 96. Joel Foxwell's pass flew into the Phoenix bench.
And for that young man, Joel Foxwell, his first taste of high-pressure basketball at the NBL level. Ben Ayre back into the game. I thought he would have been done. Great to see him out there.
His pass went by Bogdanovic. Over and back. Backcourt violation. United get a let off there. Mike Kelly arguing the point.
Phoenix thought it was tipped by a United player. Referees saw otherwise.
I thought that the throwdown rivalry might have been put on ice a little bit after last season's sweep. Tonight has injected some new life into it, and then some. doesn't drop for Tanner Krebs, but he will go to the line.
Fouls on Wieskamp. His second. Owen Foxwell back in for Ben Eyre, who looks just a little bit ginger. Best to get him out of there and not risk anything. So we've got the two Foxwell brothers lining up on each other again. They've played on each other briefly in the first half. Played on each other a couple of times in the NBL1 South Conference this year as well. I witnessed one of those, Sandringham against Eltham.
It's a 2-point game.
There's a third Foxwell brother too coming up through the junior ranks, and he's a great player too.
Here's Glover. They just parted for him.
Oh, he teased us that time, did Gus? Thought he was going to go up and throw that one down. Just laid it in ever so softly.
They just backed
saving
off.
those legs.
They parted for him. And it's a 4-point lead for the Phoenix with 3:08 to go with a timeout.
And if nothing else, this Heartland crowd is going to leave here tonight with some hope about this team. Right? Again, it's a meaningless preseason game. We get that. But some of these new pieces they've added, Nathan Sobey with 20 points tonight, Tom Bogdanovic with 24, Angus Glover now with 21, Geordie Hunter gave them some really nice contributions. They've seen something that they can get behind this season. And after the way last season finished, you know, really disappointing, obviously, for them to not only fall out of finals contention, but ended up finishing last when all was said and done. They need some excitement. They need something to get behind, and this is a really good showing, and they're getting a glimpse of what this team could be about. There's a long way to go. We don't know how good they're going to be yet. We don't know whether they're going to make finals, as we see a swarm of security surround Josh Giddey as he leaves. But this Phoenix team has some excitement about them again, and a renewed energy, and I think that's a big win if you're Tommy Greer and you're Simon Mitchell in the front office. The fans are going to be there in droves this season again. They've built their crowd numbers year on year, and they've got something to be excited about for NBL25.
I think this crowd might also lead with some Angus Glover number 5 jerseys too. Here's Joel Foxwell. Now from deep. Yeah! They're not going away, United.
Campbell Blogg hasn't played much tonight, but no hesitation there.
1-point lead to the Phoenix. 2:35 remaining in OT. Bogdanovic, the triple.
Oh.
Cash!
And a little miscommunication defensively there from United. Blogg was trying to stick with Glover and ended up having a switch and was late rotating on Bogdanovic, who popped by that stage.
Joel Foxwell wins the foul.
It's going to be on Malik Lewis. And great minutes for Malik Lewis tonight, just to get a taste of what NBL basketball is about. He played pretty well in his first hit out on Thursday. He played 24 minutes there. He's played about nearly 30 minutes tonight. So really getting a chance to find out how he can be effective at this level. He's obviously not going to be playing 30 minutes a night with regularity once the season starts, but he'll play a role for this team.
So the lead is cut back to 2. 105-103.
Illy back into the game. Jack White back into the game. United still does want to win this.
Owen Foxwell. 2 minutes to go. Owen Foxwell kisses the glass.
And you see the speed of Owen Foxwell on display there. Coming off that high pick and exploding downhill towards the rim. Great take by that young man.
Illy the drive, the layup, scores it.
With some tired legs defensively. There's some things opening up for both teams right now.
Phoenix by 2 points. A minute and a half left in overtime. The high-low pass to Vodanovic, flicked it out, it's been lost. Illy's with it, we've got a whistle. Krebs asking for an unsportsmanlike.
Well,
They're going to talk about it.
Whether it's a transition take foul or not. There were defenders in front. Wouldn't be surprised if it's just a regular foul. And it is. It was called on Wieskamp. That's his third now. Well, Dave Barlow, in his first taste of head coaching at NBL level, really having to work hard to try and get that first win. Of course, Barlow, player coach at Sandringham Sabres the last 2 seasons. Reece Carter, his lead assistant, and really took the reins in game for many of those contests.
Illy misses the first. That's a big miss. Do we get cheeseburgers in the preseason? Not quite. It's been too long since I've had a Hungry Jack's cheeseburger. Just one.
That's probably a good thing for your waistline, maybe not so much for the sponsorship of the NBL.
Just put it back in my mind. Angus Glover couldn't hit it from deep. 1 point game, 1:10 to go in OT. Are you not entertained? Illy drives it, scores it. United by 1.
Illy just continues to attack the rim at every opportunity. He's been great.
Owen Foxwell. Get to Lewis. Now he's Glover, the man at the moment. Lewis for 3. No good. Lee boards it.
Well, he got a great look from Angus Glover. United catch a break with that miss.
Big possession here. The Phoenix need to stop.
A 3-ball here would make it a 2-possession game.
8 on the shot clock. Illy was tripped by Foxwell as he was taking it through.
Yeah, inadvertent, but it is a foul, and that'll send Illy right back to the free throw line. Illy's 9 out of 11 tonight.
And so we're most likely going to be right back where we were. With a 1-possession game, the Phoenix with possession, and less than half a minute remaining. We haven't got double OT in us, do we?
I don't know that any of us do, Jules.
I think both coaches would want to shake hands and leave it at that, not risk any further injuries. The Blitz next week and then Hoops Fest not long after that. This for a 3-point lead. He makes no mistake. 110 to 107. 5.6 shot and game clock differential. Doesn't matter. The pass of Malik Lewis was led astray.
And unfortunately, that's just a young man making a bit of a mistake in a high-pressure situation. He'll learn from it, though. United now with a chance to make it a 2-possession game.
Illy to inbound. Finds White. 10 on the shot clock, 26 on the game clock. Illy to White. They almost get the stop. A scramble. Jump ball possession arrows with United. 4.1 on the shot clock. 19.4 on the game clock. 110 to 107 United.
Jack White took a little hit to left hand, finger perhaps, just shaking it off. Well, we'll be trying to lob it here to Lee or White, you'd imagine, off this inbound play. A little quick hitter. See what they get.
Illy looks for the option. Tipped by Glover. Who else? Now Lee, 1 second at the shot clock buzzer. No good. 13.3 remaining. The Phoenix need a 3 to tie.
Well, that's why Marcus Lee doesn't shoot a lot of 3 balls. But how good was the read by Angus Glover defensively? They did try and lob it to Jack White there, and Glover was right on the spot to tip that away. It's a potential basket-saving play from Glover there, and he gives his team another lifeline, Julian.
.3 on the clock. 110 to 107, Melbourne United. And these two sides have given us everything and then some here tonight at a sold-out State Basketball Centre.
I mean, do they go back to the same play? Glover again. Wouldn't be surprised if that's the call from Mike Kelly. It worked last time.
It certainly did. They just didn't account for Ian Clark with half a second at the other end of the floor. This is preseason. Imagine what we're going to get once we let him go for real.
So Blogg, White, Illy, Lee and Krebs on the floor for Melbourne United defensively here. They got plenty of length on the wing. You got two tremendous athletes and shot blockers in Jack White and Marcus Lee. And it's Glover, Wieskamp, Lewis, Foxwell and Bogdanovic. Could be Tom Bogdanovic getting a look here. He's been great tonight. 27 points for Tom Bogdanovic. He's knocked down 3 out of 7 from long range.
Wieskamp with possession. Glover goes for lightning to strike twice. Angus Glover, automatic. We're tied up, but there's 6 seconds left. Illy to have the last say. Puts it up. We're going to double OT. This is ridiculous. Mike Kelly wants to travel. The referees are not interested. We're going to double overtime in the preseason.
Wow.
Are you not excited for the Hungry Jacks NBL?
Well, this crowd is stunned and excited and elated all at once. Angus Glover's done it again. We have a bench tech on Mike Kelly for complaining about that travel call. So the second overtime period will start with a free throw for Melbourne United. But what can we say about Angus Glover? I mean, talk about someone who was just craving the ability to play basketball at a high level and to be let loose, to be let free. And he's absolutely putting all of his talent on display here tonight. 2 massive, high-pressured three-pointers. His 5th triple of the night, 24 points for Glover. And we're going to double overtime. I'm stunned. I'm shocked. I think everyone is. But we're loving it at the same time.
So Angus Glover has pulled off a 3-bomb with the last possession of the quarter, not once, but twice. One to put the Phoenix in front that was cancelled out by an Ian Clark wonder shot. And now he delivers again to send us to double overtime.
And Dean Vickerman is providing a few words of advice. He's not coaching tonight, but he's just helping with some defensive instructions for the players that are out on the floor.
That may have been the initial plan, but I think when you get to double OT in a preseason game, I think the norms kind of go out the window a little bit.
Oh, it's still Barlow in that main huddle. Vickerman's talking to the players who are not on the floor currently.
Well, for David Barlow, this is the perfect education.
They've emptied the bench, United. So we're seeing Joel Foxwell, Akecha Lear, Carl Bowen, Malik Machar, and it looks like Flynn Cameron's going to come into the game. So a chance for these 5 players to get some minutes. And I like that because, again, it's a meaningless preseason game. As much as you want to win, you don't want to risk injury. Guys have played a big load already through 45 minutes of action so far. With another 5 minutes to go, it's a chance for some other guys to get some reps in. And guys like Flynn Cameron, Foxwell, Malik Machar, Alir, who haven't played much tonight. Well, that free throw was good for United. So they'll start overtime up by a point.
5 more minutes. 5 more minutes for both their coaches to hold their breath and hope that both sides come through with a clean bill of health. Bogdanovic takes it down to the rack. And he wins a free throw. He'll go to the line for 2.
Just continues to play aggressively, Tom Bogdanovic. Probably not often he gets to play this many minutes in one game.
Well, they're certainly going to be building up their endurance, these two sides. Their motors are going to be just fine after this hit out, although the recovery, I'm sure, will be a little more difficult than they had planned. 1 or 2 at the line. We're tied up. Why not? We've been most of the last half an hour. 1-11 apiece in this extraordinary game. And sold out State Basketball Centre in Melbourne. Now the carry and the drive from Akecha Lear yields 2 points for the boys in blue. 113 to 111. Glover, it's his night, but it's not his layup.
A rare miss tonight from Glover at the rim.
I'll be hoping there'll be plenty more nights like this for Angus Glover come the season proper.
It's Malik Machar skying in for that offensive board, and he draws the foul. Joe Wieskamp back in for the Phoenix. It's going to give Tom Bogdanovic a well-earned rest.
I think for the Phoenix, they won't be able to print enough Glover number 5 jerseys on the back of this performance. Thought it was going to be a fan favourite pretty early on in the season, but I think he's managed to pull it off in just one night. Angus Glover. So 14 on the shot clock. United by 2 points. Double overtime, preseason basketball. Joel Foxwell. Let's go the floater, and Glover sharks the football, sharks the ball. He's had it like it's been a football at times. Just launching them from everywhere. That time wasn't the outcome he was looking for. Got tied up down low. And it's United possession, up by 2.
And Glover's going to take a rest, and he gets a great ovation from the crowd here. Well deserved.
So here's Cameron. Now finding Alir. Alir called a blocking foul against Owen Foxwell.
Foxwell came off second best that time, but not quite square trying to face up to Akecha Lear, who's got a big size advantage over him. And that's going to be the 5th foul for Owen Foxwell, so his night is done. And Angus Glover might have to come right back into the game.
So the brotherly duel is over for now.
Mike Kelly just taking his time. And we're still waiting for the sub to happen.
And this is a situation, who do you want to put on the floor if you're Mike Kelly?
Is there enough load into Angus Glover, or do they go with Luke Rosendale, or do they bring back Bogdanovic? And it's going to be Glover.
It'll be popular with the fans, but I don't know if it'll be popular with the Phoenix Sports Science staff. 3.5 left on the clock. United by 2. Alir Buries it at the line to push it out to 3.
Well, that first attempt didn't count because the sub had not occurred yet. So that one that he just made was actually his first attempt.
So a 3-point lead with 1 remaining. Yeah, it's spun around on the rim, teasing us all. United by 4 in double overtime. Here's Glover. The corner 3 left at front rim. These two sides have given you absolutely everything, and still Angus Glover hustling to every play. Knocked out of bounds. All heart from Angus Glover tonight.
He's played over 29 minutes tonight. That's a big load for a preseason game.
Flynn Cameron. Now to Kyle Bowen. No good. Cameron gets a hold of it. Dances on the baseline. Aaliyah for 3. Missed it. Kenyon rebounds. Phoenix down by 2 possessions. 2:40 left on the clock. 2 free throws to come for Joe Wieskamp.
Nice take by Wieskamp, who's really struggled tonight to get anything going. Just 1 of 9 from the field. Played 32 minutes as well, also a big load. And Glover will take a rest as Luke Rosendale checks in for the first time tonight. Wieskamp just needs to see some shots go down again.
Sees one tickle the twine. And the second one follows suit. So it's a 2-point game again. And here's Joel Foxwell for Melbourne United. First time they're wearing this new uniform. They're alternates this year. It's getting plenty of use. No good for a block from deep. Where do the Phoenix play it from here? The triple. Sideboard.
And that was blocked by Ketchalier. So it will be, it will be Phoenix ball. Great reach by Alier there to get fingers onto that shot from Rosendale. Vodanovic back in for Malik Lewis now. Lewis also played a massive load, nearly 34 minutes. He's actually played the most out of any player tonight. He has.
I do wonder if this will change perhaps some of the rotations for both sides' first games of the Blitz with the recovery needed on the back of this.
It very well could.
So you would think that you'd be closer to seeing a bit more of what we're going to see in the season proper when it comes to the minute share and the rotation. Wieskamp for 3. Couldn't get it to drop. Those plans might need to be altered on the back of this.
Well, Melbourne doesn't play till next Saturday night, and the Phoenix don't play till next Sunday, so they should be okay with a full week's rest. It certainly will lighten the load for the next few days in terms of their training before they head up to the Gold Coast.
1:45 to go in double overtime. Wieskamp determined to find a way there. But Alier made sure that those plans were left unanswered. 1:15, 1:13. 6 on the shot clock. The take is a thing of beauty from Tanner Krebs.
It sure was. Right around Wieskamp, getting that left hand.
Vodanovic, the trade. Bullseye!
Well, we are not done yet, folks.
1-point game, 1:10 remaining, double overtime.
Tom Vodanovic with 31 points now.
Alier Now to Krebs. Inside the last minute. The second overtime period, Krebs bricked it. It's Phoenix ball.
Blog did well to try and keep that one alive. I thought it might have come off Wieskamp, but Elliot Green right on the spot.
50 seconds and counting. Air to Kenyon. 2 free throws to come.
So a hold off the ball was on Foxwell. Joel Foxwell, that is.
What an extraordinary game.
Well, Jules, it's the first time you and I have had a chance to call together for a couple of years now, and it has not disappointed.
I haven't been lucky enough to call an NBL game for 2 years. Got to pick up pretty quickly. Bogdanovic misses the first. Look out. He hits this. We're tied. Triple overtime suddenly looms large.
Crowd loves it. Coaches probably hate it.
117 apiece. 2 possessions left. A game that's gone from the extraordinary to the ridiculous. Alea. That was beautiful.
Great pass by Krebs. It was a better finish by Alea. Not an easy one at all.
And here we are again. The 3. Bullseye!
Luke Rosendale has barely played tonight and has just put his team up in double overtime. And don't his teammates love it as he heads back to the bench. Timeout, Melbourne United.
What about the heart of this South East Melbourne Phoenix lineup?
Chris Golding up and about, loving it, smiling at the crowd. Dean Bickerman on the end of the bench, loving it. Everyone's having fun. And why not?
Absolutely extraordinary. 120 to 119. 16.5 on the clock. Double overtime. Well, I was in Wollongong the night that Illawarra and Melbourne went to 4 overtimes.
Oh, yeah. Don't say it. Don't say it.
I mean, surely at that point you'd go down the Sheffield Shield Road and shake hands and split the points, so to speak. Either that or the development players will be playing about 45 minutes each. Everybody's played a role tonight on both benches, both squads. Everybody has played a role. Even Luke Rosendale, who, as you mentioned, didn't see any time until we got to the extra sessions, and he hits the 3-pointer to put his side ahead deep in double OT.
Well, it's going to be Campbell Blogg to inbound for Melbourne here. How aggressive do the Phoenix get on defense?
Instant whistle.
Shot clock issue?
I think so. This is not the time for a clock issue to rear its head, but it does happen from time to time. I don't think any of us expected to still be here, to be honest with you. There was supposed to be there still will be a autograph session adjacent to us for the Phoenix players after this.
Well, time just being reset. 16.5 on the game clock, 14 on the shot clock.
2.5 second game and shot clock differential. Phoenix by 1. Can Melbourne get a go-ahead bucket? Alea. 3 on the shot clock. Alea's going to put it up. He does, and it drops. This is extraordinary. This is absolutely extraordinary. The and one I'm running out of superlatives to describe this.
You and me both. You and me both. What a great take by a Ketchalier. Got to that spin. Back to his left. Falling away. Takes the contact. Finishes strong. And puts his team back up by 1 with a free throw to make it a 2-point game.
You know what this also means? If he hits this,
It doesn't mean anything, Jules. Don't say it.
the Phoenix have a chance to tie or win.
All win. Let's go for the all win.
So Aaliyah at the line for the extra. 121 to 120. He intentionally misses it. Tip towards the sideline. United have won it. A double overtime classic. Ladies and gentlemen, are you excited for the Hungry Jacks NBL or what? NBL 25, if that's anything to go by, is going to be extraordinary. United 121, Phoenix 120 in double overtime.
What an amazing game. And a heads-up play from a Ketchalier there to miss that on purpose and got hands on it to make sure that clock ran down. Great way to end the game. I think everyone's probably breathing a sigh of relief that we're not going to triple overtime. But what a fantastic contest. You could not ask for anything more out of a preseason game. And this Heartland crowd leaves here, well, I'm sure they're a little disappointed their team didn't get the win, but they leave here thoroughly entertained and with a lot of excitement about what this Phoenix team has in store for them this season.
A performance from South East Melbourne that will raise the hopes of the Phoenix faithful. And for Melbourne United, pre-season or not, they continue to have their crosstown rivals, who they refer to as little brother, in the back pocket. 121 to 120 in a game full of clutch moments. Some extraordinary performances. Angus Glover's night tonight had to be seen to be believed, and if that's just a taste of things to come, he is going to be a man to watch in NBL 25. Ian Clark's banked in buzzer beater at the end of regulation was a sight to behold, and at the end of the night, you just come away from here wanting time to move a little bit faster so we can get to the Blitz, so we can get to Hoops Fest, so we can kick off the Hungry Jacks NBL proper and get to the good stuff, because what a standard that has been set here tonight by these two sides.
Well, the best part, Jules, is that these fans don't have to wait too long until these two teams meet again. Round 2, as you said, grand final eve, basically, Thursday the 26th of September at John Cain Arena. I know you've said it a bunch of times tonight, but I'll say it again. Get your tickets, because that game is going to sell out. It is a Phoenix home game. It is the first time these two teams will meet this season, and if tonight was anything to go by, it is going to be a cracking contest, and we can't wait for it.
Tom, it's been an extraordinary game. You're looking at the numbers real quickly. Just what really stands out to you in the box score?
Well, you already mentioned Angus Glover, but I love the impact of Tom Bogdanovic, a player who was probably a last-minute signing for this team just to kind of help to fill out their roster and be one of those utility-type players. 32 points tonight, playing a starting role for the second straight game. He was 11 of 16 overall from the field, hit 4 triples to boot. He just did a little bit of everything, and he was super aggressive before he fouled out. I love the impact of Nathan Sobey too, and we're getting a glimpse of what he's going to mean to this team, the way he's going to continue to attack the rim, to push in transition, but get everyone involved as well. 20 points and 4 assists. And then on the United side of things, you spoke about the Ian Clark heroics. Shea Ely did his thing tonight, but I love the impact that Marcus Lee had. Coming in a little bit underdone. He hasn't spent much time with his team here since he's joined them in preseason so far. He came off the bench tonight, but he was superb with 12 points, 14 boards, and really giving them a strong inside presence, great rim protection, and a sign of how they're going to start to think about replacing Joe Luala-Chul Jr. and Ariel Hookporty this season. So both sets of fans can leave here tonight with hope about their team's outlook this season. I think there's a lot to look forward to. The new players really fitting in well and starting to mesh, and it's only going to get better from here.
Leading scorers tonight, 32 points for Tom Vodanovic, 24 for Angus Glover, 20 points for Nathan Sobey as well. While for United, Shaley with 26 points. Ian Clark, he delivered 16. Chris Golding with 14. What an incredible game to whet the appetite for the Hungry Jacks NBL season. We are just a week away from the Blitz. Then it's off to Perth for Hoops Fest to kick off the season. NBL25 promises to be one to remember if tonight is anything to go by. Tom, it's been one for the books. Absolutely extraordinary.
It's been fun as always. A great contest. And let's get to the real stuff soon enough.
The Blitz next weekend on the Gold Coast. Then we head to Perth for Hoops Fest to start NBL 25. And if you're in Melbourne, even if you're not, if you're planning on being in Melbourne over Grand Final weekend, September 26th, Thursday night, John Cain Arena, the day before the public holiday. If you haven't got a ticket, you better get in quick because I'm sure they're going to go very, very quickly. Thanks very much for joining us for what's been an extraordinary game of basketball here tonight. On behalf of myself, Julian Marcus, and Tom Hirsch, we wish you a very good night.